So, this is 10 things you need to know if you're considering changing the soft top on your R129, the 90 to 02 SL. If you've gotten this far, you're considering changing out the top, and these cars, the tops only last so long as all soft tops do. And I've just completed the soft top installation on this car here, and there really wasn't that much great information out there about how to do it. And so I'm actually going to release a video showing the actual process step by step. But for now, this is the top 10 things you need to know if you're going to try and do this yourself. The first thing is actually 1 through 3, and it's organization, pictures, and planning. Okay? If you're going to do this, that's going to be the most important thing, because remembering the way everything goes back together and how it came apart, those are all the things that are really going to be important. Labeling your bolts and screws, taking pictures of each step you do. Ideally, you should be doing a log of each step, and so you can retrace your steps. And then, if you have a cell phone, you can do a video and show the orientation of everything before you remove it and what it looks like after. And that will be invaluable, because it's not hard. There's just a lot of pieces and a lot of steps. And so having more reference is really going to make the difference. So pictures, video, patience, organization, and like I said, ideally do a log, write it down, give yourself notes. Anytime you're doing a complicated job, that's really what you're going to need and what's going to make the biggest difference as far as the quality of the job. So that's 1 through 3. Number 4, protect your car. This process involves the removal of a lot of panels. You're dealing with the headliner, and then at the same time you're dealing with very sticky glue. We'll go into that a little bit more later. Plastic sheeting should be spread over all the interior of the car, and you should be mindful of that with each step and just be thinking, how can I protect the surface? Because the glue is pretty gnarly. It's sticky, it'll stain, and so that's going to be a really important thing, just not getting glue or remnants in your interior, and you really don't want to have to deal with any of that. And you're dealing with solvents as well when you're taking it apart. Again, you don't want that in your interior. So lots of plastic sheeting. I'd recommend having a couple cardboard boxes laying around just for some of the gluing steps where you can place it under. And then you also actually need a very clean work surface with which to work with the top when it's not on the car, your new one. So number 5, don't cheap out. This is probably the most important step. I know I said 1 through 3 is, but this is a big one, okay? This is a big time investment, and there's a lot of tops out there. There's a lot of products out there. Don't cheap out, okay? That's going to make the difference between this going easy and smooth and this feeling like an impossible task, okay? The way these things are cut, fit, and finished is going to make all the difference in the world as far as the end product and how easy it is to do the installation. So, as far as the top goes, I recommend this top in particular, because I think it's the best mix of value and quality. This is a Sierra Auto Tops top, bought it on Amazon. It is German canvas, German original canvas, which these cars call for German original or German A5. German A5 is quite expensive. I think that's closer to what was on that with the factory, but I think the only difference is the backing. Not real sure on all that. The place you can get the German A5, as far as I can tell, is GAHH.com. They have a German A5 top, but it is expensive. I think it's like around $1,200. Otherwise, this is the cheapest German original canvas top that you can buy. And having done it, everything's cut right. There's markings and everything on it. So it's what I would recommend, but if you want to go all out, certainly do the German A5. That is going to be relevant when I do the how-to video, because I'm just going to be referencing this top only, because I think the way the markings are done is not going to be consistent across brands. It certainly wasn't with Mercedes information when I compared my top versus the original Mercedes stuff. The other thing is, use the OEM glue. You need 2 cans of this stuff. It comes from Mercedes. When you order it, it's going to be around $50 a can. And There's going to be an expiration date on it, a use by date. Make sure that's at least close. If it's been sitting on the shelf for 10 years, you don't want to try to use it, and this stuff does expire. That'll also be relevant when you buy the sealing cord, which will be on the parts list. Make sure that's not expired either. The sealing cord is basically just thin butyl tape. But it all has expiration dates, and it's gonna matter if it's really far out there. The last thing, as far as not cheaping out, replace the cables. Okay, there's 6 cables in this top, and all of them are quite hard to get to when the top is installed. And it's going to make a difference between how it fits and all the tension and how it actually works. So you're going to want to replace the cables. They can be a little costly, but again, you know, this is a costly job. This is a big time investment. So again, to get the most out of your time, just replace the cables with new ones from Mercedes. Just save yourself the trouble. Number 6, the glue. This glue is contact glue, and it is thick and nasty to deal with. Some tips on that. When you spread it, it's gonna it's a bit like curling spaghetti, you know, when you have to wrap the fork. You lift it up out and the stuff will stretch, and you kind of have to lift it and twirl it until the glue strand breaks, and then you can spread it. It doesn't need to be very thick. It does need to be put on both pieces, but just thin layer is good. It works well. It's just a little bit difficult to spread out, but do try to spread it evenly and flatly. If you see like big lumps of colored glue, you're doing it wrong. Spread it out. There's a couple of sections here where you have to glue a large amount. So the biggest one is just when you glue this back portion here. It's the first thing you glue on. I recommend using both of your glue cans simultaneously. And the reason why this glue behaves a little funny, when you have the top off, as you work with it, it gets harder and harder to work with in the can. It gets less sticky, and I don't really understand the chemistry behind it, but I would do half of it with one can, half of it with the other, and you'll notice it's a lot easier to spread. And then once it sits back in the can again, whatever chemical reaction goes on there makes it a little bit easier to spread again. So use both cans simultaneously on these bigger sections. Number 7, keep in mind there are going to be year differences. As far as I can tell, there's 1990 to 95 version and 96 to 2002. My how-to is really going to be specific to the 96 to 02. The existing how-to from Mercedes that's out there appears to be on like a 1990. There are some minor differences there to keep in mind. I can't really go over all of that, but just bear in mind that if you have one of the older cars, it's going to look a little bit different for you. But just be aware of that. Number 8 is going to be gasket remover, and that's the product from Mercedes that I used to remove the old glue. There's a lot of this old glue, it's real hard to get off. I tried a bunch of different adhesive removers. None of them really seem to work quite as good as the Mercedes-Benz gasket remover. I think it's like $30 a can, and I'll have the part number for it, but that seemed to work the best for me. I tried acetone, I tried several different 3M products for adhesive remover, and none of them seemed to really work as well as the gasket remover. You just spray it, let it sit for about 5 minutes, you're good to go. Number 9, practice. When you're about to glue a section, practice what you're going to do with no glue. Where are you going to set it? Where is it going to be positioned? How are you going to line it up? What parts are you going to clamp it? How many clamps do you need? Where are they going to be located? Do a dry run of all your gluing, and that's going to really help you make sure that you're setting it right. Because once you set this stuff on there, when you're in the middle of the gluing process, it's real hard to move. So you need to be very precise and very planned in your head before you do any of this. It's not hard, but you just have to be mindful of it. So give yourself a dry run. Okay, the flap's going to be folded here. I'm going to apply glue here. We're going to pull it over. We're going to line it up in the center. Just get yourself used to the muscle memory of doing that, and it'll help you out later. Number 10, don't be intimidated. Okay, there's approximately between 40 and 50 steps to doing this. No one step is particularly hard. It's just a lot. There's a lot of steps, a lot of pieces, but just about anybody can do it. Just have a little bit of patience, a little bit of forethought, take your time, follow steps 1 through 3 especially. Organize, plan, picture, video, log on a written log, and then just take it one step at a time. If you take it one step at a time, you can absolutely do this and save yourself a bunch of money, because the labor cost of doing these is very expensive. This is the first convertible top I ever did, and I'm pretty mechanically inclined, but I've never done a convertible top, never worked with any of this kind of glue, and I just took it step by step and used reference that's out there online, and then just tried to use some common sense, and it came together just fine in my opinion. So that's what's going to be important. We will have a video of the step by step, but for now, those are the things that you need to know if you're going to try to put one of these tops on yourself.